regular class Monday morning, normal training session. But this happened last night, and we got tweets, we got messages, we got you guys. The first no-gi Ezekiel choke in MMA from the bottom of the mount. Crazy. First of all, for our friends, we have a lot of people who are just like casual MMA fans. They don't know what the Ezekiel choke is.
Let's talk about it.
Is it like Ezekiel bread? Like, what's the connection there?
It's good like Ezekiel bread.
So show them a regular Ezekiel choke, and then we'll go into the no-gi one. We'll have Vince show.
So things like this, where you hug someone's neck and you grab your sleeve, and now using your grip that you have, you slide your arm across, and as I extend my arm and I wrap around my wrist, it chokes him.
And it works from the top of the mouth.
Like, oftentimes, if you put me in the guard, you do an elbow escape, I begin to lock this, and I sink this lands at the exact moment the guard happens.
He's inside my guard when he's doing that. Very beautiful.
Even like bottom of the guard, you can do the same thing. And then there's no-gi variations, which I love, where you like doing just from the mount.
Yeah, just mount.
Where I hug the neck, and I put my fist in the throat at a slight angle, and I grab my own wrist, forearm. Now my shoulder and fist come together, and you hug. I'm not in front. If you put me in the guard, do an elbow escape, freeze. Rotate this way. Now from the half guard, I hug the neck, place the fist, grab the wrist, and I squeeze. Half guard's even better because
it's
lower.
Show me with your hands real quick, just your hand configuration.
Yes.
Right here, this is the neck. He's putting the fist on the upper carotid artery on the side here, and the shoulder's plugging the other artery, and then his head is down. It's so congested. Now, this is one version of the no-gi Ezekiel choke. Sleeve choke, also known as the sleeve choke. Another variation where he don't hug my neck, grab his own bicep, places the fist or blade of his hand in front of my arteries completely, lowers his head, and now he's holding his own bicep. And he just... That's another variation, slight different grip.
It's like a rear naked choke
from the front, but you're sliding that blade right in front of the arteries, you guys. Now, this whole discussion up until this point has been normal, okay? It starts to get crazy when you realize that Alexei Olenek, who did it last night against Victor Pesta at UFC Fight Night,
go and lay down.
And
before we'll go to the ground for sure, but this happened once from standing.
Yeah, well, he tried
it from standing, which was amazing. So it was introduced earlier in the fight, yes.
Yes. Go on that side, Simon, over there, please.
The thing is, does someone even believe that it's even possible?
No.
When it happened from standing, was it respected?
No, well, no, not even concerned. Because when you're watching this, and you're seeing someone try a standing no-gi Ezekiel choke, you're thinking, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he doing that?
Yes.
And then, hold on, he laid down right here, so Vince is going to demonstrate. So he hugs the neck. He hugs the neck, and he looks like he's just blocking punches right now. Like, to the untrained eye, he's doing nothing. Right when he mounts it, though, look what he does. He slips the fist in from the bottom of the mount, puts his chin on it, and he squeezes right now. Now, be honest, that tap right there, was it legit?
Of course, I only tap when it's legit.
Go back again, slow motion, let's talk about this. So look what happens. So this position right now, Vince has right now is not a very unusual thing. He has a head control, overhook on the arm. It's almost like he's just blocking punches. When Alexei came up and grabbed his own bicep, hold your own bicep right there, when he did that, that's when the public started to say, well, what is he doing right now? Is he cranking on the back of the neck? Is he just holding on for dear life? Now here's what's crazy. Alexei from the bottom needed Victor to mount in order for this move to work. So this is what we call pulling mount. Now, he don't invented that when he did it against Andre Galvao and Andre mounted, and he don't trap and roll standard headlock variation, class number 1, slice number 3, he rolled them off. He don't does that all the time, lets people mount. But to see it in MMA, letting the guy mount for what you want to do, this is breakthrough.
Yes. And to be clear, the choke, this hand cannot slip in front of my throat from here.
Right, so do side mount, lock it up, grab your bicep there, Vince. Try to sink it in and get the choke right here. Talk to us, Vince. Talk to us, Vince. Tough angle.
No space.
No space, tough angle, congested.
Especially with gloves on, it's going to be very tricky.
Very tricky.
Like you said, when you invite them out, hug my neck.
The neck, holding your bicep, Vince, let him over. Look, by the time he launched, now Hito's spine became aligned with Vince's, and because their spines are both parallel, the hand insertion is possible. Vince is putting his chin right on top of his wrist to solidify. And now by flexing, pressuring, and holding here, it's a done deal, guys.
And the moment somebody mounts, there's a slight hip drive, which lifts my head a little bit. So not only is my head more aligned, but my head lifts, which makes that entry that much
easier. You're saying when you put your hooks in,
yes,
you put hip pressure, it made it even easier.
100%.
So here's what's crazy is like Vince, is just embarking on this jiu-jitsu journey here from us. And I think the other day we had, look, and I hug his neck right here, I get it at any point, and let's say I can get it locked in right here, neck up. It should not be hard to accomplish this from the bottom of the mount.
Seeing that it wasn't possible from the side mount, right, my immediate first thought was to kind of jump off and maybe anchor the person's head and drive.
Ah, yeah.
to kind of jump off and maybe anchor the person's head and drive.
Ah, yeah, it works. Annoying, because it creates an angle on my neck, and he was plowing his weight that way, which brought my hand up and out of here. So if you can get that, especially before it's deep block.
Now, I tried it on Vince.